Now, if it wasn't enough that we were going to encounter hardship, tests, trials, and temptations on our journey, there comes a stage of the journey that is referred to as the abyss. And this is the ultimate challenge. So you can think of it like the crisis point or the climax in the hero's journey. So this is kind of like the moment of death before the rebirth. All of the prior challenges in the journey have led you to this point. And basically, it's kind of like your low point. Okay. You may feel like you're at a low point at some point in your journey. But here's a quote from Joseph Campbell that I'd like you to listen to and really internalize. He says, "At the bottom of the abyss comes the voice of salvation, the black moment when the real message of transformation is going to come." So think of it like this. Carl Jung also says, no tree, it is said, can grow to heaven unless its roots reach down to hell. If you drop something, it goes down and down and down until it can't go any further. It hits rock bottom, but what happens as a result of hitting rock bottom? That is the point from which you can bounce back and bounce even higher than you were from the first point that you started falling from. So in entrepreneurship, what does that look like? So there's this intensification of trials, perhaps. There is this intensification of hardship or challenges, but it leads us to a place of transcendence where the ego, or that part of us that suffers as a result of trials. Remember, you are not just your ego. And here's the important thing to understand. The part of you that suffers, the part of you that thinks this is hard, this is challenging, this is trying, is not your higher self. Your higher self is the part of you that calls you onto the journey. The higher self is that part of you that knows that you are going to end up in a higher, more expanded place. But it is your ego. It is the conceptual mind. It is the small I. It is the part of you that wants you to stay small, that is scared to be stretched, that is scared to be exposed to a largening of the of the arena of its world, because it is just comfortable with that small little bubble. It is that part of you that needs to be expanded. And so when you face the challenges that lead you down into the abyss, eventually there comes a point at which your ego no longer is fearful. The things that made you feel fearful, you realize you are bigger than that. You can survive them. You learn that you can transcend them. And so even though the voice of the ego never really goes away, you realize that you don't have to listen to that voice. That voice does not have to overpower you. That is the voice that will cause you to be tempted off the path, right? You don't have to listen to that voice anymore. The voice can be there and you can see it for what it is, but you realize that you can transcend it and you can continue to follow the higher self into this hero's journey as far and as long as it takes in order for you to expand your horizons and gain the reward for which you embarked upon this journey in the first place.